What's up, people? My name is Curtis. I'm a videographer. If you're here watching this live, it's probably because you followed it on my channel, so you probably know who I am. These are some of my friends. Brady is... Should we do like a small introduction on everybody quick?
Yeah, let's just do a small intro.
Yeah. Okay, Brady, roll with it.
Yeah, so I'm Brady, and Curtis and I came with this idea that we would get together and talk with a bunch of different creatives in their perspective, like different industries. So I am a DJ and I own Amped Up Entertainment, and just in Lethbridge for right now. But we're going for more of a premier service of a company, so we like to do more boutique style weddings and just a different image compared to what other people are doing. And yeah, it's starting to grow pretty good. It's a decent. I'm loving the way it's looking, and I'm working closely with Curtis. He's helped me a lot on my media right now. It's gonna look pretty good. But
Brady's being low key. He runs probably like the nicest looking, one of the best DJ companies in Southern Alberta, which will probably take over Western Canada shortly. He's got a drive and a passion like no other, and his design stuff, his stage looks amazing. So I'll just throw that in there for him quick.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'm also with a group called Forte Sound Society, and we'll probably get that mentioned because more than half the group is currently in this chat. So we'll talk a little more about that. But it's we're a DJ collective that do some pretty sick events here in Southern Alberta, and hopefully looking for that thing to grow huge too. So yeah, anyways, we'll move on. Riley, if you want to go next.
Oh dear. My name's Riley. I'm up in Calgary, also part of the DJ collective that is Forte. I'm getting like a double on the sound. It's awful.
It's because it's probably because you have your stream open.
That is. Oh my God.
Mute. Yeah, you gotta mute the Twitch live stream. Otherwise, you'll hear yourself lagging.
Rookie.
I noticed this. I did that same thing yesterday.
I remember my first stream. God damn. I am a sound tech designer, DJ, and do SEO as my mainstay as well.
Who do you work for? What's your projects?
So I work for Symbol Syndication first and foremost. That's where I do most of my SEO projects, and also video marketing when I go out to shoot. And then on my sound tech side, I work with a wide range from gun for hire, but I've worked with PK, I've worked with Circle and Wheat, I work for Bass Bus, and Big Art up in Calgary. And then my side gig is hosting trivias and managing an artist by the name of Small, and Zodiac and Pat Clifton and Riley and myself.
Riley is the definition of a hustler. He has probably like 3 projects of his own that are substantially good enough to go big, as well as he helps everybody else. He's like your typical yes man. If you ask him to do something, he's probably not going to say no. He'll do it. And he'll do a really good job of it every single time. And I don't know how he does it, but Riley is amazing. And I've been friends with Riley now for probably 4 years, doing events together, traveling together. Shambhala, we did Vancouver with Leah. We've done, I don't know, everywhere. But yeah, anyway, continue on. Why doesn't Leah go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. I was just going to add on to what you said about Riley. He's also one of the best networkers I've ever seen. Remember that first year that we were all at Shambhala, and he was just going ham, meeting everyone, making every introduction.
Gosh.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm Leah. As you guys can tell, I've worked with Curtis and Riley before. I've worked with Curtis at many festivals and shows over the last 5 years. Worked with Riley at UBCO, what was that, 5 years ago?
Oh man.
At that time I was leading a digital music magazine called Rendered, which was an EDM and trap kind of music magazine that had fashion and culture sections as well. We traveled around to every festival around BC, some in the States, we did EDC Vegas. I was mostly managing the team and doing artist relations and interviews and articles. after that, I had a full service marketing agency. And then throughout that, I kind of wanted to get more specialized in creative direction. So I branched off and started my own company called Mire. So with that, I'm kind of guiding people to understand the image of their brand, of what they want to achieve, and what they kind of want to look like to the outside world. So I like to say I'm making ideas a reality. You know what I mean? That's about it.
Nice. Yeah. Leah is same thing. Like for Leah to say that Riley's good at networking, she needs to give herself some credit.
Yeah, exactly.
Leah and Riley.
Learn from the best.
Leah and Riley are literally the two most connected network type people I know, and a big part of my strategy and my life is to stay aligned with people like them, because I kind of lack that, and I think they do a really good job of that. And obviously they're good friends and everything besides that, but like you can stick those two in a room with anybody and they will make friends with everybody. And I kind of just try to follow their lead, but no, they're really good at that. I think everyone I tell about them too, I'm like, yo, these are really good people and everyone really likes them. They're great people to have in my life. I'm so happy to have them on here and to talk with them. We always have good conversations. It's finally, we finally get to record what's happening so that everyone else can learn from it. Because I think it's always so constructive. So, who's next?
John, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm Johnny. I'm a musician. I'm an audio engineer, and as Riley calls me, a funny Englishman. So I'll roll with that. I've been in the industry 15 years, touring and across 2 continents. I'm involved in ideas planning, logistics, execution. I run festivals, music events, sporting events, conferences, and teach courses on all of this as well. And met Riley through doing Fresh Fest down in Lethbridge with him, and brought him along to a couple of teams that I've worked with as well. So
Thank you.
To meet everybody else that's so well connected with Riley too.
Nice. Do you want to give us some names of some events that you've worked on?
Sure. So a production manager for Shambhala, EDC, Mexico, a bunch of stuff through the States, Glastonbury Festival, Barack Obama when he came to town, Caslo Jazz Festival, if you like jazz and live music, and a bunch of stuff all across North America now. Yeah.
Wow, what a rap sheet.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, just casual Barack Obama.
No big deal.
EDC Mexico.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No, it's good. You look back, and when you do, you kind of elevate a pitch. You're like, oh, yeah, I did. Oh, yeah, I did that too. Oh, yeah, that was cool. You don't really think about it as you're doing it. It's just the next, project and the next expression of outlet, and then you go, oh, that was cool. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's so cool. No, I'm stoked to meet you and hear more about your life and what you do and how things work for you. So we got the last person on here is Austin, one of our homies from Lethbridge. Actually, he's from Calgary. He's in Calgary right now, but hung out with him down here in Lethbridge. He's a photo, video musician. He does a little bit of everything. He does it all. He's really good. His style is impeccable. He was really popular on Instagram for posting photos until he deleted his Instagram to get a break and a reset in life. I don't know, Austin, what else? What are you doing right now? Do you want to give everyone a little update on your life and kind of what you do?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, like I kind of just do like a little bit of everything, but I focus mainly on like video and photo stuff. So I actually work for a dealer group that owns Porsche, Calgary, Glenmore Audi, and then a couple of Volkswagen dealerships. So that's kind of like my main gig. I just do like all the content for them. So I do like videos, ads, like photos, graphic design, web design, kind of everything there. So it's been good to kind of just like keep honing in on those skills, like while getting paid like an all right amount. Then at the same time, just focusing on my side hustle. So basically like freelance again for like anything that I really like get. So graphic design, mainly photos, videos. So yeah, like lately with all the coronavirus stuff that's been going on, obviously can't go to work. So I've just been hanging out. I kind of want to like do more stuff with Censored, obviously, like all this stuff that's going on with Curtis. And then I'm kind of focusing on my own brand as well. I'm just trying to grow that because I got big plans for the future, but I just need to start like kind of working my way slowly to them. But yeah, like I met Riley in 2014. I think I went to University of Lethbridge for a little bit, and like I'm pretty sure he moved us into our dorm room, which is like wild. And then I never really saw him again. But then into the music kind of sort of scene, that's when I started getting into production. And then obviously inevitably met Riley again And we started DJing these like West Side Saturdays that like nobody would come to at all. It'd be like 5 people, and it'd just be us, mainly for us, honestly. And that's how kind of like we linked up, and then we started hanging out more. And then we eventually started just DJing like cabarets and university parties together. And then I kind of dropped out of the music scene for a bit, started focusing on video and photo. And that's kind of when I met Kurt. I would see him just like filming events and stuff like that. Like, I don't really know when we actually became like really good homies, but
I don't even know.
Just kind of sort of progressed from there.
It happened so quick.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, Austin's been, again, everyone like gives their story so light. I feel like I could go so much more in depth on what they're doing.
That's why we have you though, to go like boost us up.
Austin's style is unique and strong and very good. And I think the good part about it is when he puts something out, you can tell that it's his, but the quality of it is always really high that even sometimes I'm like, did he actually make that? I'm like, I don't really know if he made that. Like, I'm not too sure. But he's really good. He did stuff online. He was going to school. We talked a lot about like his future and what he wanted to do. And then he ended up landing this job at these car dealerships, creating content for them, which, as any content creator can agree, getting a job where you can create what you want to create, like where you not even just create what you want to create, like getting a job where you can get paid to do what you want to do is exceptional. And that's like extremely hard to come by, especially like when you're first starting out. And I remember Austin landed this gig. He was like, yo, dude, he loves shooting cars. He had a dope car and he was like, yo, I'm going to get paid to like make content of cars. And I was like, dude, that's amazing. And he took it super seriously. You can tell like the level of production and quality like increased dramatically as soon as he got there. I think he realized he had to step it up and, you know, really push himself to create what he can create. His stuff was looking better than stuff that was coming from corporate, from like Audi and whatnot. So I have no doubt that in no time, Austin will be creating content specifically for massive brands on a big scale, on like a corporate level, not just like the local dealership. So Austin's got a huge future in front of him. Not to mention that he's done some DJ gigs, shooting artists. Photo video coverage for artists, like what I've done.
That res photo you did some time ago. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Still to this day, it's so freaking good.
Yeah,
Austin's the kind of guy that like will trade hats. He's like, I feel like being a videographer today, and he just walks in like, oh, new high score. What's that mean? I just picked this up. Like, what do you mean? Audi wants to work with me? Cool. Okay.
And that's like one of the things, honestly, that I've been trying to like for the past couple of years, just narrow down more and like just focus my scope. And I think that's what's helped a lot with actually getting better at something. Because like for a long time, I would just be like, okay, I can do like music. Okay. I can do photos. Okay. I can do video. Okay. I can do graphic design. Okay. But I was like, that's fine for right now, but that's not going to push me forward into the future and like actually being like the best creative or best person I could be. So I just tried to like kind of narrow my scope for the meantime, and just like focus in on what I really want to do.
I feel like that's a struggle with like what we do is that many of us, just cause like from a technical side point, as soon as you learn how to do one thing, you can kind of learn how to do multiple things. Like once you can work with one program, you can work with a bunch of programs. And then next thing you're like, I can build websites and I can do this and I can do that and I can do this. And then you spread yourself so thin. And it's like, if someone were to ask you what you do, you don't want to be like, oh, I do like all these 50,000 things. And like you said, it's just really hard to hone in on one thing when you're in like 50 places.
Yeah, exactly. And especially like if you already have like, obviously my client base isn't even close to being as big as yours, but like when you have all these clients hitting you up for different things, and it's the more you do like, and you retain those clients, like they're going to keep asking for them in the future. So you kind of got to make that decision. It's like, do I want the money now, or do I want to like focus on my brand now and kind of like move in that direction?
Yeah.
At least for me, I don't know.
What I've done like recently for that, and the way that I've tried to balance that, is really like putting my goals or like setting out kind of where I want to be, and then taking a look at every job that comes in as like, is this a step closer to that goal? Like, is this the step that's going down that same path, or is it going off to this path? The path over here could be fun or like exposure and whatever. Like, is that sometimes it's enticing and you want to do it, but I just check back to that main goal as to like, is this making the step closer to that? Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's networking, sometimes it's other things, but you're totally right, is to figure out like, when you look at a job, there's so many aspects into like what you could take and what you couldn't take. But No,
100%.
that's the hardest thing probably to figure out, like for us anyways.
Yeah. Curtis, you want to give yourself a bit of an intro or?
Yeah, so my name's Curtis. I do video production mainly. I can do a little bit of everything. Like I just said, when you get into this thing, you can do multiple worlds. You can do lots of stuff. I try to cut as much of that out as possible. I do mainly video production, creative media, creative video, and then alongside with that comes marketing and strategy, because you can make the coolest video in the world, but if you don't know how to deliver it to other people, its success is completely irrelevant. So I ended up diving into the world of marketing. I owned a watch company for a little bit, did that. I worked for a home builder as their marketing guy for a year, so I did that. So I have a little bit of experience in just marketing, but other than that, I am an organizer in Forte Sound Society, which is just a thing that, Riley and I had started that Brady's now a part of. Austin's a huge part of it too. He's been shooting photo video for us, hanging out with a while. That was kind of just like a side thing. I was shooting video for DJs kind of around North America, and then I came home and the music sucked and there was nothing to do. And I was like, one of those things where you're like, I could just do this better myself. So I did it, and I reached out to some friends and we pulled something together. Super proud of it now. We do awesome events. But the most about Forte, what I like about it the most is just the amount of experience that we get from doing something like this. You know, we're running like 400, 500 person events sometimes. And it's just 5 of us at home, you know, saucing this on our credit cards, running it through a Facebook group chat. Like the first event we did, Halloween event, had like a budget of $13,000. We knew nothing. I mean, we didn't even have a budget. We were just spending money, hoping that we were making it back, which we almost made
even.
Yeah,
when we bought all our liquor, and then we had just somebody who walked in. I will remain nameless, but it was like, you need like twice this, and so we bought twice this. But then Curtis lost the receipt, so we had to buy quadruple that so we could have the receipt for all this. Yeah, it was a great.
We lost the receipt
night.
and we needed it for our liquor license. So I ran to a liquor store 30 minutes before the show and bought half the amount of alcohol that we had. So I had a receipt for it, and then I left that alcohol in the car. And my parents drove it home, but just so we could have a receipt. So like complete gong show. But now the crazy thing is like we can launch like a 500 person event tomorrow, and we know exactly what we're doing. Everyone kind of has their position. So just mostly, I guess what I like about that is my experience that gave. Lots of like team management, again, like marketing, ticket sales, all that stuff outside of media. So I kind of live in the realm of like events and media. We're kind of all in the same space. That's why we're all here. We're all friends and whatnot. So I think that's enough about ourselves. I mean, we don't need to go too much into like what's going on. I think everyone knows what's going on. What I wanted to do is just talk about kind of how the cancellations and postponements of events and everything specifically right now affects all of us, because we're all very event related. And I just wanted to hear kind of what that has done to everybody and kind of the mindset that put you in. And then after we go there, I want to move the conversation to what we're doing to, you know, break through your creative breaks and like how you're keeping yourself sane at home. I think lots of people watching are like, they have no idea what's going on. I know I posted something the other day and I said, you know, reach out, hit my DMs if you have questions or whatever. And like a surprising amount of people hit me up and they were like, yo, I need advice. Like, what can I do right now? What should I do? So I want to hear your guys' takes on all of that stuff and how that's working. So Brady, do you want to roll with it for a bit here?
Yeah, I guess I could. So like what Curtis was saying, we're just going to kind of talk about what we've been doing. So like I said in my intro, like I own Amped Up, and honestly, it's like I know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people here, especially those in the industry, you've lost some business, or you've definitely slowed up a lot. I know for myself, I lost about a little bit. I lost about 4 galas and about on a couple weddings too. Not a lot of weddings happen at the beginning of the year, but you know, you have to deal with the roles. But it's definitely been like a great time to work on our marketing aspect. So one of the important things that I try to deal with in mine is I really want people, their entire customer experience to be just seamless throughout the whole process. And so we've got an app that's been developed for us, which allows you to like choose your music that you want for your event. And we've got everything that we do is all done on your phone, so people can pull their phone out and just sign our contracts and go through overview all the different information they need to know for their specific event. But it's just like trying to make it all perfect, and I don't know, like you just want their experience to be just seamless, right? Like I know that I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you guys have ever had when you're working with a client and it just seems like it's just not working out, like it's just kind of slow and you keep running into a bunch of different barriers. I just want to avoid that completely. And I've noticed that like when it comes to my company compared to like a lot of local companies here, there seems to be a lot of like road barriers or bumps that they have to deal with as they're going along in their process. So for myself, that's mostly what I've been dealing with. And then just like working on my website. That's why I said like I've been working alongside with Curtis a lot on building up the media on it to look good. If you haven't seen, we put a video out just recently, and it's like when Curtis was talking about how he did video, he just like undersold himself. He is literally like amazing when it comes to his video production. I'm pretty sure everyone here
Take it, Curtis.
agree.
You can gas us up, we'll gas you up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kurt's like my number one like inspiration for video, like no joke. Like, and it's just crazy that like even if I just knew him on social media and didn't know him in person, like he'd be like my number one. And it's just crazy that like we're homies and stuff, and like he can teach me, and it's just wild. Like he's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's so good, and it's just working out. So that's for me, like that's what I'm trying to do is just let's make this experience seamless. So whatever your business is, or whatever you're planning on doing, or whatever you want to do, like just make it so that it's all about the customer, right? It's all about making the customer happy. It's all about getting those reviews high and good on Google, on social media, and for myself, like the Wedding Wire or the Knot, those are important formats to be on as well. And as long as like that's exactly what I'm focusing on. And I think that like I'm curious to hear if everyone else is like, what are you guys doing in order to like better your businesses or your creative outlets?
So how are you doing that, and how are you reacting to what's going on with your clients? So like with customer service kind of being your bread and butter, how are you treating the situation right now with those clients that you have?
Yeah, so that's difficult. That is, anyone that's been through that has probably felt the same way. So for myself, like I'm on a bunch of different like forums, like DJ forums, and just kind of connected with different businesses that are all over like the United States and Canada. And one of the things that they are talking, so like we take a down payment, obviously. And a lot of the time when a customer wants to postpone or they want to cancel their event due to the coronavirus, they want their reimbursement back. And I think it's important, obviously, like if you make sure, like for legality purposes, make sure your contract is airtight. We don't reimburse our down payment because, and I'll be very honest, it's our operating money. Like we use it to operate, to continue paying all our bills and to go forward. And so what I've been doing mostly for them is instead of having them cancel, I've been trying to get them to postpone their event, postpone to a different time, don't cancel. And then I will just carry on the date. The issue that we're having now though is for all the stuff I had planned in September, October, November, it was all my Saturdays are getting booked up already. And so all these guys that are getting pushed over into the future, they're wanting these Saturdays. So it's like trying to get them to be like, hey, no, let's do Fridays, let's do Sundays, let's just try and figure out a different day. That or I have to bring in more DJs to try and get to those clients. But it's more so just trying to, like, throughout the experience is getting them to feel like they're heard. And that's just like such a, like, I feel like that's a lot what a customer gets most upset about when they're trying to get their money back, or they're trying to, get through to you, is they don't feel like they're being heard because they're just kind of stopped by some roadblock. And so just hear them out and, find some middle ground. I don't want to give my money back because like I said, I would lose out because most of the time I'm operating, I have to pay my expenses and stuff. So I feel like a lot of us, that's the same thing.
So can I ask you, how are you predicting like when you're postponing the event still, you know, because I'm sure
man.
your customers and your clients are kind of thinking the same thing. Like we're in this indefinite timing thing. Are you telling them like, I think it's going to be better by September? Or
that's so hard because like governments are coming out. Like I just try and keep up. Like I'm not a scientist. I can't predict how long coronavirus is going to be around. So I go off with the government, but I feel like it's every day there's something new, and that's what we're all kind of dealing with. And that's the biggest thing when I'm talking to a client is like, this is something new for us. You know, we didn't prepare for this. We didn't like wake up. We don't go through some school of like, hey, in case of a pandemic, this is what's going to happen. Like we're all learning as we're going. And
it's a weird time for everybody right now.
Oh, exactly.
And I feel like it kind of benefits because some people are like, at least my clients have been pretty understanding about the whole rescheduling thing. But I'm sure there are a few out there that would be pretty upset.
Well, and that's exactly it. Because it comes down to like a lot of people are getting laid off and losing their jobs. And, you know, they have money invested into these things. And like, I'll be very honest, I'm not the cheapest DJ in town. I'm probably one of the most expensive DJs in town because we're going for more of a boutique experience. So like when people give me a down payment, it's not, you know, here's $50. Like it's a significant amount of money. But like I said, I operate off of that. And so right now, like I'm just kind of saying, let's push it off towards like more towards near the end of the year. So let's say the last 4 months of the year, September, October, November, December, start looking into that aspect. And then if it is still like a thing where the government has, you know, no get-togethers over, I think it's 15 people now. I think that was the newest update.
Yeah.
So you can't have more than 15 people in the same area. So if that's still the case or it hasn't gone up yet, then we'll push it off again. Like I'm trying to keep it as open as I possibly can. In hindsight, like I will lose business because I'm losing future dates. But I mean, it's how I keep them somewhat happy so that I don't get bad reviews.
Doing kind of like a prorated system for when they do reschedule, like as an incentive to reschedule instead of just canceling, kind of maybe like giving a discount or something if they do decide to do that.
I haven't done that yet, but that's a good idea.
That's a really good idea. I was thinking about that for video stuff, doing discounts, but also doing like a payment plan. So say like a 25% deposit now, 25% deposit next month, and 25% each month.
And that's what I've been kind of incorporating too. So usually we do like a 50% deposit down and it's non-refundable. And then usually about 2 weeks prior to the date, we want the retainer to be paid as well. And so we can break that up into payments if it makes it easier. But during this process, we've been doing the same thing. We've been like, okay, well, let's look at a 30% down. And then we'll do some payments. I have one bride for 2021. She's worried that, you know, I'm really hoping by 2021 we're in a lot better situation. Like,
same.
If we're still like this in 2021, like, oh my goodness.
If we're still in this in 2021, we're gonna adapt, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna live stream these people's weddings, and you're gonna DJ remotely in this live stream situation. And I'm calling it now, and we're gonna do that. And actually, if this doesn't go past June, everyone in this chat right now is getting involved in this, and we're gonna live stream everything we do.
I'm looking forward to the first VR wedding.
I know, right?
Dude, I had this crazy idea. I can't say it here. You guys got to message me later. I had a crazy idea about live stream.
It's
like
pretty good
stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, actually, it's funny you say that because I was listening to a DJ talk and he suggested like, because a lot of these brides that are having to lose their dates, they're super upset because like, oh, it's 2020, which is like an iconic year. People want to feel like it's the roaring 20s, right? Or they pick some day, they're really set on this day, it's their grandpa's birthday or, you know, whatever it may be. They just really want this date. And so what he's been emailing to his clients, he's telling them like, hey, like, I'm sorry that your date's gone. You could still get married on your date. Like just take, you know, your immediate family, people that care, go to a courthouse, and like, it's not like the most ideal situation, obviously. You can live stream the event so that the rest of your family can see it, the ones that can't be there, and then just plan your party in the future. And so I think like that's something I'm going to probably approach too, is like, if you really want your date, just do what you can do and then party on later. Cause that's really where I come in, right? I'm like, we do ceremony music, we'll do ceremony audio, but the majority of the time we're there for the party aspect. So
like you said, it's not ideal, but this kind of time in the world right now, it kind of opens up some like really cool opportunities that wouldn't really be there to do this kind of stuff, or like kind of expand into different aspects that you wouldn't typically or normally go into. So it's kind of cool. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like what we're doing right now, right? Like this wasn't difficult, but it took us a pandemic to get on here and do it. I mean, lots of people have been doing this for a long time. Live streaming's been popular for a while, but it's never been as popular as it is right now. And in a weird way, I think it's advancing technology to pull us closer together, which was kind of the whole point of technology in the first, not the whole point, but a big point of technology in the first place. So I kind of find that interesting about it. Leah,
I never thought that I would be able to walk into Walmart and there'd be no toilet paper or webcams. Straight up. I never thought that was going to be the day. Like,
oh my God.
Who has bought a webcam in the last like 5 years? Like when we
Nobody.
all have freaking cameras on our phone and laptops, and then here I'm going and they're like, oh no, we're sold out. I'm like, apparently every 80-year-old out there went and bought a webcam because they wanted to zoom their child.
I think it's mostly like young people like us that are starting to do like OnlyFans and like.
Yo, I've been thinking about it. I went for a run today. I'm trying to strip this body down so I can get on an OnlyFans. I've been seeing people make insane amount of money out there.
That's true.
I'm gonna make an OnlyFans compliment account. So if you subscribe, I will give you personalized compliments each day.
Yeah,
I will send you. I will rate something online. I don't know. Leah, I want to know about what you've been doing and how this change has affected what you're doing right now.
So in all honesty, like I feel like I've kind of been thriving over the past couple weeks. I know that might be kind of weird to say, but I've really gotten into a good routine of going through sort of like post-mortem on all of my old projects and seeing what I could have done better and what I can learn from everything that I've done in the past to sort of like propel myself. And I've found that has been giving me a lot of motivation and helping me specialize in exactly what I want to do with my new company.
Cool.
So yeah, I've been like looking back in time, thinking about what I can do better. And I've also been using this time to follow up on all of those like random little potential leads that kind of got lost in the wind and in the past, you know, and I've been reaching out to people that I probably particularly wouldn't have reached out to before. I feel like people are more lenient with their communication ways and people are checking their DMs more, checking their emails more, things like that. And everyone is looking for opportunities right now. So being in the creative space too, like we're a lucky group of people, you guys more so because you're more technical aspect than I am, but like, this is a huge opportunity time for everyone that's working in the tech space and live streaming and things like that. People don't know how to do shit like this, you know?
Totally.
Like everything from setting up a mic correctly to like screen sharing, things like that. People want to learn how to do that. So even for you guys to like start some sort of like company where you can teach people how to do things like that, there's an opportunity right there. So I've just been really trying to stay positive and like figuring out what the next thing to do.
Do you think that I liked what you said about like when you take this break and like get a chance to like go back and look at some of that older stuff and to, you know, analyze what you've done. Do you think that you're gonna learn from this and kind of like take that moving forward all the time, in that it's a good idea to take a break every once in a while and try to like regroup yourself? Because I know that that's a really hard thing to do, and when everyone's so busy, and I know that I get that, you get so caught up in the day to day, and like we're all working on so many new things, and creatives and ideas are flowing. And you said like that by taking a break right now, you were able to look back at like everything you had done before and figure out what you could do better and reach out to those leads. Do you think that's something important to continue to do moving forward? And like, how do you think that you can implement something like that when you're like crazy busy and going constantly?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that right now developing a strategic process for any type of creative project that you have is extremely important. So you can kind of just like go through your checklist, whether everything's on it from like getting your contract signed, getting the right team together, like making sure everyone has paid, like things like that, and having a good system set up. Right. And then you can have your postpartum like postmortem at the end, postpartum.
Most part.
And
I mean, not too, I guess, but
yeah, just kind of do that at the end and make sure that you're going back and checking, you know?
Yeah, no, I really like that. I think same. I've done like some tasks that have been on my plate for probably like 2 years
Yeah.
that honestly took me 5 minutes. And like my life got significantly better. And like I liked how you said you were thriving, because I've been telling people that too. Like I'm thriving, but like at the same time I live in my basement editing all the time anyways. So just like a lack of new stuff obviously, but the time to go back and like tighten what I have and kind of develop those systems. And I like what you said, yeah, like a system or like the checklist. I think that's really important to like put down how you do something so that you can replicate it and reuse it later on. I think is like a good way to invest your time right now.
well, it's like you know, we're talking about thriving, but I feel like we're thriving in so many different aspects. Like you look at yourself, Curtis. How often are you going out shooting right now?
Not
Like
very
next,
often.
like next to nothing, because you can't, right?
Couple
Like
times a
no,
week, yeah.
yeah, like it's very little. Whereas like I'm not going out and DJing anymore, but it's like we're looking at different opportunities. We're trying to adapt, and I think that's the biggest thing is when certain situations like this happen, you have to learn how to adapt. Like I look at what we're doing right now, like we're doing this chat, and like you said, it took a pandemic for us to sit down and talk to each other over camera, but legit, like it's a different form of thriving that I didn't think that was going to happen anytime soon, because I was so worried about like, okay, let's get these gigs going, let's pump it up, let's keep myself busy, let's keep DJs busy. And now it's like, okay, well, we can't do that, but let's still plan for the future, and then let's see what else we can do. Let's see what else, how else can we help our communities and just be a part of, you know, what about of this industry in general.
Totally.
Yeah, and honing in and mastering your craft. Like, this is-
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like for Brady, this one hit especially hard because he had in his new business idea. He was really investing lots of time in figuring stuff out. He had just got a couple big contracts. Very excited about stuff that was going on. We had launched a Forte party 3 days prior to everything getting canceled. We had
that's so sad.
given a deposit and everything. Yeah, Brady was stoked, and then when this happened, he even the other day he called me and he was like, "I got a creative block right now, man. Like I don't know what to do. Like it's hard because especially look at like what he has going on. They're like future events that are booked and now they're just gone. I think that's something that Johnny can relate to, and I kind of want to hear your side of the story on how you're handling everything and what's changed in your life.
Yeah, there was a definite like 48 hours where everything canceled. I think we can all agree that it was like a 2-day
My
window
Facebook
where
feed. Oh my god.
yeah, where you pick up the phone and you answer an email and you're like, oh great, that's another one canceled. But we're all using it to do exactly what we're saying, is to get ahead of the curve, so when it all does come back, we can hit the ground running. And there's a lot of talk right now on stimulus and a lot of talk right now on making the remainder of 2020 memorable, not for a pandemic reason. There's a lot of the bigger events that are all pushing into September, October. I could see it being an incredibly busy last 4 months of the year if there's
To me, insane.
big events, all the weddings on top of all of the annual events that go on as well. So yeah, there's it's an interesting time right now, but there's a lot of talk of stimulus, a lot of talk of as soon as it's wrapped up and we can meet for more than 15 people, doing something memorable with it, doing
Nice.
something that we're all going to remember for a good reason, rather than sitting in our house for 24 hours a day.
Well, it's funny you say that, because like you look back into history. I don't know how much you guys really remember. Well, none of us were born then, but like of the Great Depression, like it was some pretty trying times. And then you think of like after the Great Depression, we're talking about the Roaring 20s, which was like everyone was partying, everyone was like pretty much like, oh my gosh, we actually survived this. Like let's just live it out for the rest of the time.
Sure.
So like my prediction is like after this is over, I just feel people are just going to want to have parties. They're going to want to go to events. They're going to want to do all the things that they were like putting off and go, you know, maybe I'll do it next year. It's like, no, we're going to do this now. And the next couple of years are just going to be insane. My prediction.
I feel
They
that.
also didn't have webcams back then, or OnlyFans.
That would have been a struggle, man. What do you do when you're not online?
Oh my god! I think it was like Monday or something. TELUS the entire TELUS network in Alberta crashed, and I was like, this is it. This is where everybody loses it.
That's some.
That
that's
was the
some,
breaking
like,
point for you.
Yeah, this is the straw that broke society's back.
I've seen so many like conspiracy things that came out then, and I don't want to get into that right now.
Oh
I don't
God,
want to
please
talk about
no.
it at all. But I'm
I
saying,
just took
like,
my tinfoil hat off.
the blackout happens, and it's like, oh my goodness. Yo, so Johnny, I wanted to ask because you're in a slightly different boat than say the rest of us, because you're a little bit more technical on the side and like labor organization oriented, whereas we're more maybe creating. So like we can work from home. Can you work from home at all, or like what are you doing right now?
It's a lot of not busy work, but I took my website down. I'm redesigning it and doing all of those kind of things. I'm doing a lot of networking and client outreach. I'm not doing any events, obviously, or any execution, but just planning ahead, making sure that when people call up asking for rescheduling dates, that it's going to work. Because as you know, I think I can say that the Comic Expo has moved to September now. And there's another 2 or 3 big events from Calgary that are looking to move to September as well, and making sure they don't overlap, and sort of doing a big holistic unity thing within our industry to say, you should know that this event's going on this weekend. Maybe that's not the best weekend.
Right.
If everything
that's got to be tricky to communicate that through these different people, but it's good that you're in a position where you can kind of help them, help guide them to recorrecting the best possible way and not making mistakes that they're unaware of, right?
And our strengths are all in numbers too, but a lot of it is just keeping communication going and catching up on all the repairs and all the things that need to happen, rather than doing the event side and the fun side that we all enjoy. You know, we're not going out and filming events, executing events, playing events. We're getting ready for when we can do that.
Right. So how do you stay sane? How do you calm that mental mind when you're just sitting there waiting for all this stuff to happen?
Oh, so I got back from Vegas the day everything happened, I think the 13th or 14th of March, 14-day lockdown at home. I was going insane. I didn't know what to do. I find it's very good to block time for myself. There's a lot of like productivity stuff on there, Pomodoro techniques, things like that. Setting a timer and saying for 25 minutes, I'm going to do nothing but this.
Nice.
And just ignoring everything else, the phone going off, the laundry that needs changing, and making sure that I'm a little bit stricter with my time than I would be when there's a more steady flow of things going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Which works for me. I don't know if, and I go for socially responsible walks with Riley. I think we head out and go around the reservoir.
6 feet apart, right? Like
6 feet apart. A hockey stick. We carry it between us.
I need a picture of this, please. All right, Riley, how have things changed for you? I know that you probably have the most diverse aspect of everything. I think you do.
He killed it last night, though. Holy.
Yeah, so Riley
Thank you.
live streamed. He DJ'd a set last night. It was absolute fire. That was the first time I watched like one of my friends live stream something live. So I was just playing some Call of Duty. I don't want to say that too loud, but if anyone hears and they want to play with me, you should message me and add me. So,
only if you want to lose.
only if you want to try to win. Anyway, you didn't hear that. So I was doing whatever I was doing, and Riley was live streaming, and I had it on, and I was jamming, and I was genuinely stoked the whole entire hour. I was like, I kept saying, this is so cool. And I was playing, I can't remember, I was playing with, I don't know, a bunch of people. And I was like, I kept saying to them, yo, this is crazy. Like, it's so cool. You know, you watch other people live stream and that's whatever. But when it's now all of a sudden it's your homie live streaming, I'm like, I'm here for the whole hour. And then I really enjoyed that hour. And I was like, I would do this every night. Like if my friends were like live streaming something, I would love to tune in and figure that out. It was a really cool experience watching Riley do it. He obviously killed it. He's going to do it more. He asked me if I was interested, and I am nervous about that, but I thought maybe we could do something Forte related like that, which would be cool. Kind of an expansion on this. But anyway, Riley does probably a little bit of each of our industries in a way. He could probably tie things together the best. I want to hear about the biggest shock for you. What was the biggest thing, like the most hurt? I can probably guess what it is after saying that, but what
you want to see a grown man cry?
Yeah. What was the biggest thing? I want to hear what it was and how you're handling it.
Well, for that Twitch thing too, I was just going to mention, it was also like, it was more fun than I expected. It was super funny, and even like my mom chimed in on the chat.
Dude, it was too
She
good.
was
The best.
very engaged. And
So happy you shaved.
it was so wholesome. And my mom hasn't seen me play in God knows how long. Maybe hasn't actually seen me play either.
Wow.
But yeah, so that was a really cool experience. And
That's
thanks
cool.
for tuning in. I appreciate that.
Oh, dude, it was killer.
Yeah, for my line of works, like my income wasn't anything to brag about to begin with. Like I had a very sustainable income for what I did. I took a giant cut when I moved up to Calgary, but even from that, like my wedding dates that I had with Happy Life, Happy Wife all canceled. My trivia nights that I host with Tipsy Trivia all canceled. Sound tech gigs with Cirque du La Nuit, festival that I was managing, Last Class Bash. Those are all out in the wash. So like I've taken about an 80% cut in my work, which I've just been filling now. And like blessing in disguise, kind of, I say yes to a lot of things, as you pointed to. And I make it extremely difficult for myself to make time to do the things that I should probably be doing. Like I've always said I wanted to make music. I never work on it. I just fill that time with work and just keep trying to get gigs and stuff, like paid gigs and work, but not actually putting in the time to work on music. So like now I've got all the time in the world and no excuses to work on music. And for a lot of things, like I picked up Duolingo. I really want to dial down my Japanese. And I've been working out in my living room and just establishing like blocks and routines to kind of keep myself sane, which are now like me kind of attacking the things that I've been putting off a long time in my life, which like I've heard a couple of people say as well. So it's nice to have that time to actually like tackle the things that seem mentally daunting, and they're not. And yeah, I think it's a cool time to learn skills right now, and that's kind of how I'm accepting this new normal of staying at home all the time. I had before this a nice phone call. A friend of mine, he manages an artist that like was booked for Lollapalooza and Bonnaroo and a bunch of things, and they all got canceled. And so we were just catching up. He's an old friend, Lucas Canzona, and put me in touch with another homie of his who manages 3 artists and used to work for a sample pack company. And so I just talked to him about sample packs and like trying to get more industry knowledge to help out my artists, and see like as a manager how I can, like what steps I need to be taking to be a better asset to the artists I represent. And so that was sick. And then I jumped on a call with Adam right after that and picked up some ideas. So it's a lot of people that, as Leah was mentioning, have a lot of free time right now. They're great people to connect with and kind of get those skills and build something like more substantial to show off once this quarantine is lifted.
Yeah,
So
it's
guess
like
I have a question to ask actually, because Curtis had asked, mentioned earlier, like between you and Leah, you guys are just like the kings and queens when it comes to marketing and networking with people. So like during this time, like I love networking, but I'm also like a face-to-face kind of networker. You know, if I'm going to meet you, we're going to find some common ground. I'm going to be your best friend, and then let's go forward from there. And that's how like I've been able to expand my business so fast. It's like I just find people, and then they'll text me later like, "Hey, that was awesome to meet you." I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." So like during this time, how are you guys networking to new people? Like, how would you approach yourself to new people without being able to actually meet them in person? Like, are you just sending emails out, or like, what are you guys doing? Or have you been doing anything?
Or are you trying to do that right now?
Yeah, because that's super important. We need to keep on networking, but it's like, how do you do that when, you know, a lot of people maybe don't have Zoom, or an email is just not that personable, you know?
Well, I think a good thing to approach it, and I'll let Leah take her spot too, but with natural networking, it's not forced. I think that's the best way to meet people if you're reaching out.
Ways like this.
Totally. I actually had a really interesting conversation about this with a client of mine who he's trying to refer me to other people. So I've been kind of like using a referral basis to get new clients. And he was like, you know what, it's interesting because it's hard to describe you as a person, you know, when you're like trying to sell someone else when without meeting them is been really hard, because I think that I'm the same as you, Brady, where it's like an in-person thing and you feel that click, you get that connection. But if you don't have the opportunity to do that, then that kind of also goes back to your customer reviews and things like that. Like you want to try to have the best rapport and sort of reputation, I guess, that people can base themselves off of. I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. I've just been kind of using referrals. And in terms of meeting new people, like I've gotten back on the LinkedIn train, which has been interesting. It's not really the most efficient, but like people are on there all the time, every day. So I've been kind of trying to network that way too.
I've been avoiding LinkedIn, but I feel like it's something that I'm going to have to finally work on.
I don't ever look at it. I just see the like 50 notifications that I get in my Gmail because it comes in my social thing, so I don't check it, and then I just see all these people, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta write a bio about myself, and I just don't want to do it. Does someone want to do that for me? Leah.
I can do yours.
Yeah, I liked what you were saying, and something that I kind of took away from what everyone was saying right now is that right now is a great time to be working on and building your foundation. Whatever that is, it could be for your business, it could be for yourself, it could be for your brand, it could be for your routine at home. Even like Johnny was talking about using those 25-minute segments, like something like that is really good to kind of figure out and learn how to work and kind of like how to manage yourself in your own mental and like stay on top of everything. I think that was cool. Austin, what are you up to these days? You're not in the office. I don't know what you're doing. What have you been up to?
Yeah. So I've just been kind of like getting a lot of freelance stuff like complete. A lot of projects have been on like the back burner. Kind of like how everybody else is saying, like just old projects, like you were saying, like some you haven't touched for 2 years and took you 5 minutes, like a lot of that kind of stuff. And just like a lot of reflecting, like I really like the idea of just setting aside time during the day. Like I've been starting to do that. And I've just been doing like a lot of stuff that like I lost or haven't been doing because I've been so busy with work. Because like between going to school full time at night and then like work full time during the day and then all my freelance stuff, like honestly, I was pretty burnt out for like a few months there. So it's been nice to just kind of get a refresher and have like actual time to like put a plan in place and think about like where I want to go, because I feel like it's super easy to get trapped in the moment. Like, especially like, I know you've worked for like an actual company before, so you've been in the office like every single day while still trying to do your freelance side of stuff. And it just, like everything just gets so jumbled together. And like your life just becomes like some like linear thing where you're like going to shoot, edit, sleep, shoot, edit, sleep, shoot, edit, sleep. And you don't have time to like kind of focus on your own goals. At least for me, that's like the type of person I am.
I think you added sleep in there a little too often.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get that much sleep when you're doing that. Jokes. I know that you don't. Austin and I are both usually on our computers on Discord or something at like 4 a.m. doing
we're very
randomness and playing games when we shouldn't be or whatever. Yeah, I feel that for sure. I think the break is so good. What are you doing right now in terms of like client work? Are you looking for new client work? Are you getting new client work? Are you just finishing what you have? Like kind of like what are you going to do moving forward, Austin?
Yeah, so like a few of my clients, I kind of stressed like about not canceling the events. I had a couple weddings. I've had a few corporate shoots as well. So we just kind of like pushed them to postpone them, and it actually like they're down with that because like luckily it wasn't like a 4K like music event where it's happening on this day and like it can't really, that specific event can't be pushed back to a later date. So luckily they've all been really flexible that way. But yeah, so I've gotten a couple new jobs since. One of my clients, I've been self-quarantined also for like the past 2 weeks because I was traveling like in Vancouver.
Right.
So just to make sure like I'm fine and I don't have anything and I'm just kind of staying inside anyway. So we're going to do a shoot next week for one of her like law firms. And she's cool with that, like as long as we're not like showing symptoms and stuff. So nice. I'm taking like jobs that I trust and like I know the people well, so I can have that like level of trust, I guess, where we know we're not gonna like mess each other's stuff up. Yeah, like a few new clients here and there, nothing crazy. I've actually been doing a lot of like remote work, like because I do graphics and videos, stuff like that, like lyric videos even. I've been getting a few clients that way, so I don't even need to show up anywhere to shoot. They don't need to leave their house. They basically just send over any assets, and I can just take care of it from my own place, which is super handy because it's easy. Like I just wake up and get it done. A few music videos have been postponed, which is fair. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've just been trying to find ways to level up my own personal brand and kind of do more stuff. Like I've been so linear for the past like year with all this work and stuff going on. It's nice to kind of differentiate.
Is this a good time to throw out 30 dailies? This
yeah, for sure.
So I did back in June, we did this video challenge that I just randomly decided to do because I don't know why I did it. It was good. I made a video every day for 30 days. Just to post on Instagram, had no idea what I was going to do. I kind of wanted to just dive into it. The whole point of it was just to do the experience and see what I could learn from it. Like just push yourself to the extreme, give myself kind of that excuse to do like what Austin was saying, those random ideas and stuff that you've had that you've always wanted to try, but you haven't had time. It was a great way to kind of carve out that time. And the funniest thing is I can relate a lot of like my life right now to when I'm doing 30 dailies because you don't have like, you have time for the things that you didn't have before. And when I'm doing 30 dailies, I pushed off a lot of what I found like stuff that actually didn't matter. I started to put it off. I was like, I just can't do that right now. And it ended up freeing up more time to do what I wanted to do, which is kind of in a roundabout way what's happening right now is that there's a lot of stuff just got pushed off and the time is opening up to kind of like do things here or there. For all the people listening that know that doesn't mean I'm just sitting here doing nothing all the time. That is absolutely not the case. I think that everyone sitting here is probably in the same boat. Although we're saying we have more time to do things, that doesn't mean that our time isn't being filled. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but for myself, I'm just as busy as I was before. If that makes sense, I probably have just as much going on. It's just shifted. It's just like a different realm of what's going on. Yeah, I'm not going out and shooting new stuff, but that's given me the opportunity to kind of catch up on what I have going on, as well as build some brand type stuff and do things kind of like what we're doing now, which is really cool. It's a good foundation. I've found everything, like Leah said, I feel like I've been thriving. I don't know if I'm that much of an introvert that I just enjoy being at home, but like besides shooting, not a whole lot has changed. I've had more time at my desk kind of in this spot right here to like get comfortable and get set up and, you know, just be able to do things like this. I find it really fun, exhilarating. I'm not like super stressed about things at all.
That's what I was going to say. It's like the workload hasn't like changed a crazy amount from like the quarantine, but like the level of stress has. So it's like, now we have like similar workloads, but we're not stressed out about like a deadline tomorrow or like, you know, like deadline this weekend. So it's like the work's still there, but it's like, it's not as stressful. It's stressful in a different way. I don't know. Yeah. But I also have anxiety, so maybe that's it.
If I find it interesting to see how everyone is like individually, we haven't all talked about this. Like I've talked with Brady a little bit, obviously, but we all haven't talked about this, about how we're handling it. And I think everyone is saying very similar things, which I find to be super interesting. And I think that people watching will like that because it's not always about hearing new ideas that fixes what you have. Sometimes it's just hearing and understanding that other people are going through the exact same thing to kind of like justify what you have going on and help put you in a better space. So for anybody watching, we know how it is. Everyone's going through it. I know some people have been super stressed, and kind of what I've just been telling them is like, just remember that you can't change what you can't control. Yeah. So like if we can't change this. Like, of course, I would love to have all these events and everything get back on scale. Things were good. This year was shaping up to be like one of the best, right? I still think it will be one of the best. We can't control that. So try not to stress about that too much, but there's what can you do in the moment to kind of move forward. I've been like informing some of my clients about like that sort of train of thought as well. And being, some of them were super upset. You know, we had projects that were like halfway done, like like really good projects that I was banking on to pay my bills for the next 3 months. Stuff that I was super proud of that we're halfway through shooting, and it's just done right now, and it's indefinitely postponed. Yeah, that's super stressful, but I can't do anything about it. So we're just sitting down with those clients being like, okay, well, what can we do? Is there something we can do right now that adds value? I was lucky enough, one of my really good clients, the Lethbridge College, came to me and they were like, all right, we want to produce a video about our response. Like, we want to give a response to the community and, something to the members. There's lots of, as you guys know, grad got canceled. For someone
I'm graduating this year too,
exactly. So for someone that did 2 or 4 years of school or whatever, like, a lot of people really look forward to that moment of walking across the stage, and to remove that from someone is absolutely heartbreaking. And, there's nothing you can say is going to fix that. Time is the only thing, obviously, and to make up for it. But they wanted to put together a message, but they said to me, we can't shoot anything new. And I was like, well, I want to shoot a couple things new. Like, let me just come to the college and shoot like someone standing in the hallway. But like, no, it was a no-go. And we had to recycle old material. And that's where I was like pretty thankful in some of my organization skills and whatever that I've adapted for the last year and a half to be able to go back and like pull through that old footage. But this is what I really learned about like what you can create and what you can make online and using content that you already have. Because the college, the team that I was working with at the college, they were all working from home. I was working from home, obviously. We put together something I'm super proud of. I have to post it on my Instagram still. I posted it on Facebook if you haven't seen it, but it was really cool. I used Fiverr to get a voiceover done online. So the college, they worked remotely. They did their own thing on the script. I'm not sure what their process was. Probably emails. I went through a few people. That came to me. It came through a couple of revisions. We put it through Fiverr online to get a voiceover. Found somebody we really, really liked. Their voice was actually perfect. Came back to me, was putting the edit in, and they were just kind of taking some stuff out. And I usually try not to stand up too much to certain things, but I was like, I don't want to cut that section out because it was removing a lot of the emotion. And I could dive into this another time on like a more of an editing side of things, but I stood up and I was like, no, let's do it this way. Like, let's do it this way. And they were like, hey, well, we trust you. We'll listen to you, whatever. And I put this video together. We posted it online, and it did really, really well. So that's something. Yeah, thank you. And that's something that I kind of want to push to the rest of my clients in the creative industry. I know a lot of creative people are struggling with like what to make right now. If you have time, because I know lots of people, like we're fortunate enough that like Austin and myself and Riley, and that we all have our clients. Like, we all still have some clients. We have really good relationships that still want to work with us and are learning to adapt, and some new ones that are down. But there's a lot of people out there that are just starting. Like, Austin, think about where you were at a year ago and this happening right now. Yeah, things would be totally different. Like, you're lacking maybe you lack some confidence and experience and whatever. And those people are wondering like what they can make right now. And I want to ask all you guys what they could be making for their clients and some tips to them about how they could be creating and moving forward. My tip would be, when you're working with these companies, look at what you can do online and look at what you can recycle for material. I say all the time, like, video itself is super important, and most people don't. I know this for sure. Most people do not use their content to the extent that it could be used. Like, things can be recycled, reused, re-edited, repurposed. Like, sit down and really figure out with your client what the message is that you want to send out, and then figure out like with the material that you have to work with that. I bet you that you can create something that is very new and very fresh for them, that would do well for them and that they could promote to their audience. Another thing that I've kind of been thinking about, and I talked with Brady and my sister, who I'm doing the new Censored company with and stuff. Now is probably not the best time to be getting new clients. I think you could get new clients, but I think it's hard. My focus right now isn't on new clients. My focus is going to be on what value I can add to the clients that I already have and those relationships that I already have going on there. And that's where Leah said, like, kind of looking at some of those leads that she had and, following through with them and seeing what's going on. But I really think that, look at the clients that you have and where you can add value to them. So rather than looking at them or like sitting at your desk and being like, how am I going to make money? You may need to accept the fact that you're just not going to make a lot of money right now. and then that's going to be the way it is. And money, I think the money would come if you were producing properly. So I think looking at how you can add value to your clients, money will come in return. And even if it doesn't come on this project right now, I think it would come later on in those relationships that you build. So that's kind of my tips. Like, nurture the stuff that you have going on, reuse, work with what you have, try to create new messages, but really just sit down with your client and listen to them and try to figure out where you can add value for them, and then worry about the money later. Like payment plans, or like Leah said, just discounts or whatever. Like, just ditch the money. Right now is not about money. I think right now is about community over everything, and offering how you can help people succeed will in turn work for your benefit later on. So yeah, I just want to hear your guys' tips about like what you think people could be creating for themselves and for their brands and vice versa, et cetera, et cetera.
Just to like add to that first point you were saying, I heard a quote like a few years back when I was into music production, and it was like, you could be like the best producer in the world, like literally better than anybody, and like you can just be a god. But if nobody hears your music, nobody's gonna know who you are. So like, it doesn't even matter if you're that good, right? So it's the same thing with like video, and how Curtis was talking about like going back to past projects or past creative works and just kind of reworking them or seeing what you could do better, as Leah was saying. Because like, yeah, and like even like a social media aspect, like if nobody's seen your best projects or your good projects, or you rework old projects and you're better now, like nobody's gonna know who you are, right? So, and same thing with clients, like if they haven't seen your best work or what you can do, they're not gonna know, and you're not gonna get as many jobs or get picked over other people. So I think just like we've been talking about, using this time to focus on your craft, learn new things, like really focus on what you want to do in the future.
Yeah, and I think a good thing to pull out of, Curtis, your story that you were talking about earlier with the college, is that you found the voiceover person on Fiverr, correct?
Yeah.
So I think that it's also a really good opportunity to kind of build your profiles on a kind of sites like that if you are a freelancer, and you can pick and choose what you want to put on there and really build the ultimate profile for yourself to represent yourself online, because you can't do it in person. So like, maybe we could even put a list of all the websites that are like that, or like what you guys are doing to promote yourselves for our viewers, because that could be really good.
I like that. I think we should do that. I think we should put a list together. Maybe we should put like a little document thing together, kind of like our tips for creators of like what they could be doing right now. If we could put something together like that, that'd be awesome. Because I think a lot of people just don't know. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to find it. I think what we forget is that we've been doing this for years. There's a lot of people that are just starting, people that have just graduated, to say like, could you imagine you were graduating this year and now you come out and you're trying to look for a job? yeah, look at Brady. But Brady, you already have a company and stuff.
I do have my company, yeah, but
you're in a better position than most people. But I'm trying to think of like Austin a year or 2 years ago, right? So like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. I think if we could offer something to those people for that would be really good.
Even just like if I'm like with my cousin and we're like editing a video or whatever. Yeah. Even just like his questions and stuff. And it's so easy when you're in the game to like not realize like all the stuff you know, or like, you know, like all the stuff other people don't know, right? So like once you sit down with other people and you start to realize all the options that are there for like even tutorials and stuff like that, I know I'm going to start diving into more of that stuff in like the YouTube space, and just kind of like diversify more from just like one social media or even just like one like business, you know?
Nice. Well, I think that's something that you could do during this time too, is prepare what you're going to do when you get back. Like I was thinking for Johnny's case, for example, you know, you're kind of stuck at home repairing, just going over the things that you do have right now. But like, I imagine you probably have some things in the works, but I know for like myself, there's a YouTube channel I follow. You ever heard of Christian Jackson? He does, he's an LD, but he travels around the world, and all his vlogs are just about him being an LD, and he's got like.
Do you want to tell people what an LD is?
Lighting designer, sorry. So like guys, an LD is a lighting designer who designs a light show for big festivals or events, concerts, pretty much so the visuals look great. But he's got like 90,000 subscribers, and I've watched his channel quite a few times, and he'll go over like how to work the lighting board, like the more professional lighting boards, which is content you don't see on on YouTube whatsoever. So for like yourself, it's like, can you think of things that you know that you can't find on YouTube, or that you wish you would have known 5 years ago? You know, like what if 5 years ago you wish you would have known it, and then it's okay, I want to do this, and maybe I'll do like a tutorial video at home, or you know, in the future when I go back to finally touring for different festivals, it's like, let's show like the process of, you know, getting ready for a DJ show or for a live show, like things like that I know I wish I could see right now and I can't see it. And I've talked to Curtis about this, like there's so much content that I wish I could learn about, and I'm having to just teach myself that, like, hopefully in the future I can sit down and find like, okay, I'm going to put this out myself. Then I'm going to create my own YouTube channel. I'm going to put these things, because I guarantee you there's other DJ companies in the same boat.
Yeah. I think even just going through the motions in the meantime until you can get out there. So like, for example, if I have a video idea, I'll shoot it with like just an object in my room and like edit it fully like I would with effects and stuff. Cause then when you go out into the field, you're totally set up, like, you know exactly what you're going to do. So you can do the same thing with like business, marketing plans, anything like that. I think it's a good idea.
Building kind of your confidence, kind of like that foundation, I guess. Yeah.
Well, like if we all ask ourselves for our own businesses or our own careers or whatever we're doing, how many of us have like an actual written out business or marketing plan? Hey, we got one.
hey, Leah, if you're bored and you need something to do, I need a business plan.
But like straight up, like, it's
no, you're right.
It's insane how many people have not done that for their business, but like once you do it, how much it changes. Like how you look at your business, like what's your goals, your 1 year goal, your 2 year goal, 5 year goal, and then like what is your purpose of your business? What are you trying to do? And once you have that all written out and like can see it, it's just going to push forward. So I know for myself, I've like thought about writing it up. I've written, you know, some things here and there. Like I have my website built and kind of tells, but I don't have like a full on business or marketing plan. This is the most perfect time to literally plan out what you're going to do. If you're, you know, you may not have all the content that you want right now, or you can't get because of what we're dealing with, but at least get it written out, get yourself prepared. Because once it comes in, like we've all been talking about, it's going to be a rush where there's going to be gigs coming in, and there's going to be so much opportunity for us to take the content that we need, and whether it's event or whatever it may be, and just go with it. And like, maybe I'll have to connect with you too later, Leah, about like creating a business plan. Cause like,
yeah,
I feel like that's all we can benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even if you don't know how to create a business plan, like I didn't go to business school. I studied soil science. I don't know, like really.
I forgot about that.
Like you don't,
That's awesome.
You don't need to go to school to know how to create a business plan or a marketing plan. And
they don't teach you that in school. I'm a business major. I'm a
There you
management and
go.
finance major. They don't teach you how to make business plans in school.
You gotta go to
That
marketing,
program.
baby.
Or if it, yeah, but even anything from school is just too outdated for me. To be
Yeah.
honest.
I was,
Honestly, like if it wasn't just for the, like, honestly, if I was where I am 5 years ago when I started school, like I probably wouldn't go.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's just like
actually.
everything I've learned has literally been like me teaching myself, or like on my computer, me searching it up, right? Like new media. It was like a joke, right? But
Yo, I just wanted to touch. I wanted to touch on one thing that Leah mentioned, that she went to school for soil science. I remember being in Kelowna, I think it was. We were at a music festival. We met up out there. We were partying, and she's like, "Oh, just a sec. I need to do some assignments." I was laying in bed, like just dying, hungover, like struggling, and there she is beside me. She was just like doing some soil, like plant work on her computer, just like going ham, writing a research paper. And I was like, that's when I was like, okay, Leah is legit. Like she's so legit, like scientifically smart. Like it's ridiculous.
it's like chemistry. I don't know.
Basic
Yeah,
science.
no, she knows everything. She's too smart. Watch out for her.
Appreciate you. But back to our like first point, I was just gonna say, like, even if you don't know how to create a business plan or a marketing plan, it's really easier than you think it is, and now is a good time to teach yourself and like plan for that future.
Yeah.
Does come in.
Maybe that's something that we can work on, is put together like a little document, nothing like too crazy, just like some steps or like a bit of a brief. I know that there's plenty of stuff online, and I'm not saying that we're the best at anything we do, and there's tons of info out there, But let us know if there's anything that we can put together for you guys. We're kind of just trying to like build that like strong community where you can come and ask questions and learn information and just kind of do it in our own realm over here, so that we can kind of do it the way we want. But if that's something you're interested in, make sure you let us know or hit any of us up online. I will make a post after this and put in everyone's information so you can hit them up and find more info about them and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea, Leah.
Yeah, I think a good idea too. Like I've just been thinking about like decks, pitch decks. Like if people are like changing the formats of pitch decks and things like that, if you're even just like kind of the best format to have your portfolio on, that's information I've been looking for. If you guys want to like touch on that.
Yeah. So you're like what do you mean? Sorry, like a format for your portfolio, like. Yeah, like
a. Not really like a platform, like, but if you're going to send something or if you're going to post something to your website, like what's the best format to do that in?
Yeah, there's so realms. So you could do like you can make a website. You could use something like, I think a good start for creatives, not a sponsor, but one day a sponsor. I don't know, Squarespace. Squarespace or Wix or something like that is really good, fairly cost effective. You eliminate the BS of like trying to figure out how to make a website in WordPress and all that kind of shit. I'm literally selling this service, which is terrible, but
it's just easy,
nothing free over here. Nothing free for my 10 viewers that are watching right now, right? But yeah, I think
10% off if you sign up on Squarespace.
I'll give you my I'll give you my referral link, and then I'll give you half of whatever I get from that. But no, I think using there's lots of options out there for something like that, and that's something that we can list out as well, which is such a good idea. A great way to display kind of the work that you've done and adding like a call to action of how someone can contact you is great. That being said, you don't need to use all these other services. You can use things that you have to your disposal already. Instagram is really good. You may have an Instagram already, that's your personal or something. You may have a business one, but think about using your business one as your portfolio. I know lots of people say that isn't, they'll probably tell you in school that doesn't work and that's not right and that's not professional. I will tell you that I've got some of my biggest jobs off my DMs on Instagram, so don't listen to shit that they say. It's not an end all be all. I have had meetings that came from Instagram where they like want to view my work in their little meeting board and they want a website or whatever. I send them my Instagram link and I tell them to pull it up in Chrome because I don't want to spend extra time like putting it somewhere else right now, but you could do that. So that's something really easy and it's free. You could make a new account. Say you want to promote your artwork because you like to draw. Make a new account, post your stuff on there, and then post it on there and then share it on your regular account. Don't get caught up in that it has no viewers. It doesn't matter how many people are following it or how many people see. All that matters is the right person ends up seeing it, who will potentially become your client. And honestly, they're not going to care about how many followers or anything it has. They just make it easy. Just make it as easy as possible. And use the platforms that are already out there. So I think that's good. I don't know if that answers your question. I just want to add into
that. Another like super dope platform for like creatives is Twitter. I know like most people haven't used Twitter since like grade 8, but like, I don't know. It's just everything goes viral so easily. Everybody for the most part is like pretty supportive. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've just had stuff blow up on Twitter, like way more than Instagram. And then just going back to what Kurt was saying, having an Instagram as your portfolio as well, like it doesn't hurt. Like I feel like everything, you just want to like cover all your bases, right? So like you'll have your website if a client wants your website. You'll have your Instagram if a client just wants to browse your Instagram. Like you'll have like everything going. Like I don't know.
Share. Like especially like what Leah said right now about people consuming. Everybody is consuming so much right now. They're looking for stuff to consume. They're bored with what they're consuming. Share your stuff. Share your content out there. Put stuff out there. Like what we're doing right now. This initially was probably like a meeting that would have happened not publicly, that we could have just had because of all of us could talk and get ideas and just whatever. but it was super easy to put it online so people can watch. There was some technical difficulties, so maybe it's not that easy. Maybe it's not as easy as I think it is, but it is pretty easy to like share this and put this out there. We're just putting ourselves out there. We're just making ourselves vulnerable. I think that is really important for people to kind of like understand what you're doing, but just share everything you do. Even if you think it's not that great, just put it out there. I know lots of people, creators are just like, I don't have a good video to send to these people to try and get a media pass for something like this. And I'm like, well, do you have a camera? Yeah. Do you have a backyard? Yeah. Go outside and make something. Like, make something of what you have and share that you can do it. And the only way to get better at something is by doing it, for the most part. Like, you can watch as many YouTube tutorials as you want, but until you sit down and you try to create something, you really didn't learn that much. All you did was decide if you're willing to do it or if it's too much work. That's all you really did by watching that tutorial, right? So
you think about yourself, like how many views have you gotten just off of shooting your dogs?
Oh, too many to admit.
Your dogs are so famous.
So many, but that's exactly it. And it's funny. And that's something that I can say from 30 dailies that I can use now, is that when I did the first round of 30 dailies, like, I've been doing video production for a long time, like since out of high school. So like 10 years, like over half my life right now. I've been doing video production for a while, and everybody knows, or I assumed that everybody knew I made videos. I have people that still think I'm like a photographer or something. They really don't know. But until I posted a video every day for 30 days, like, I had a lot of people that were like, oh man, you're actually really good at making videos. And I'm like, thanks. I'm like, yeah, they literally had no idea, right? They're like, or I didn't know you could do that, or I didn't know you could do that. So it came from like consistently putting out lots of different stuff. So I found, like, when I was creating things, there was something, there was one that I remember that I wasn't really sure on. It was like a Canada Day video. It was this baseball thing. And I shot it because it was what was happening. And anyways, it was average for me. I didn't think it was anything great. And honestly, I had probably like 20 people reply and say that that was their favorite video. Right. And that's an example of me just putting something out there that I created, that even though I didn't think it was the best, like, don't always put out stuff that you think is your best. Otherwise, you're never going to put anything out. So just like by putting stuff out there, I think people can start to relate to certain things in different aspects and view you. And I mean, not everyone is going to watch everything. And at the end of the day, if they don't want to watch it because they don't like you or they don't like what they're posting or whatever, like, don't stress about it. They're just not going to watch. Who cares?
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah, and it really doesn't matter. Like, you could do something as simple, like, if you're at home and you want to know what to create, like, just whip out your phone and start making something. Yesterday, my girlfriend was it yesterday? I don't know, April Fool's Day, she pranked me with this thing, and it was so funny, and I was dying laughing, and I was like, yeah, I gotta film this. Like, this is hilarious. So I just took my phone, I did something, I edited on my phone, I put it on TikTok. As, I don't know, it got like over 1,000 views, which was insane. Posted on my Instagram, and people were dying and thought that was hilarious. And it's just something small and easy and on my phone, and like no production value. That doesn't matter. It was just about sharing my experience with other people that they could relate to, and they really liked that. And I don't know, maybe that could turn back into a business thing one day. Maybe that's not. Maybe they're like, oh yeah, you and your girlfriend are so funny. Like, you never know what it's gonna be. So like, my advice is just sharing. Like Riley DJing last night, and his mom getting to watch him play for probably the first time ever. How
Shout
cool.
out Mama Mills.
Yeah, how cool is that though, right? Like, that's such a really dope experience. Yeah, I think it's really cool.
I feel like people get a much better reaction when it comes to things that are more personable to them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Mr. Beast, like the YouTube channel Mr. Beast.
Absolutely.
I only found out about him because he was doing that, like, share this and you'll win money.
He's so smart.
But like, it's so dumb. But like, I think right now he's gaining a million subscribers a month right now. He's like the fastest growing YouTube channel right now. I think he's at like 34 million subscribers. But anyways, if you go back and watch his videos, most of it was done like on his iPhone 5C. Like, just insane. The front camera, just doing that. And then they went on and bought, like, you know, the cheap, like, Canon Rebel T6 or whatever. Just the stuff that more entry level people can purchase. But like, obviously he's grown now, his production's a lot better, but it starts off with just putting the stuff out there. And you'd be surprised. I hear this all the time. People are like, oh, you know, YouTube is so saturated, there's so much stuff out there. It's not, because for myself, if I'm looking for like a tutorial or if I'm looking for something and I see that it's 2 or 3 years old, it's irrelevant to me anymore. I won't even bother watching it because tech has changed by then, because ideas have changed, and it's useless to me. I look for the stuff that's within like a year range at least, even better if it's more within the last couple months. And so you think of like what you're learning or what you've learned, and you're like, oh, this is really cool. I'm just going to put a video out there and see what happens. You'd be surprised, like just that one little tutorial video,
Man.
or just like a discussion talking about different business opportunities, or, you know, how to work us, for like Johnny's sake, like how to understand like sound design and everything like that. It's these are all things that there are people out there looking for.
People just want to watch people.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the weirdest things. People just like to watch people, and I find that so fascinating and so weird. But on that topic, let's go one more thing quick for everybody. I want to know what you guys are consuming right now to stay motivated, to stay good. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you paying attention to? What are you not paying attention to? Where are you going with this? I like to watch YouTube. I've been watching YouTube for a while. I like the content that I'm watching because it's not related to the news. They're kind of doing like what we're doing. They're talking, they mention the situation a little bit and kind of what they're doing, but then they go on and create. I know lots of people I was talking to, they were talking about how it's their job right now to entertain people, to distract them from things, which is, I think, is super important. And that's some work that I kind of want to get with my content, is just like an escape for somebody or something that they can enjoy to do. So I wanted to hear about what you guys are watching. One thing that I'm not looking at is Facebook. I have not disabled Facebook or removed it, but I just don't look at it anymore. I find that my day could be going really good, and then I read some article and it just puts me in this like shitty mood, and then I find it hard to create. I find that like my work goes, my whole like my business and everything is also conjoined, that like if I get in a weird mindset or I get frustrated or distracted about something, I find it really hard to sit down and make something, which is really sucky when you have timelines and you have all the stuff you want to get done. So what I'm doing is I'm removing some of those aspects. So the negative news or the news about COVID and stuff like that, I don't read it. So I don't really know, like Brady's saying, like what the updates are, like groups of 15 people. I don't look at that shit because I don't want to think about that shit. I want to sit here and I want to be as focused as possible until I'm ready to go out and I can go out and create new stuff. So that's something that I'm doing. I just want to hear what you guys are doing.
I watch an obscene amount of anime.
Yeah, me too. I'll be right there with you.
There you go.
That's about it.
That's about it. What anime? I was gonna ask you which is your favorite anime, but I don't know anything about anime. So maybe you and
what are you watching lately, Riley?
Oh God.
We'll have our own live stream.
Yeah, we'll segue that into our own like weeb channel.
Yeah, exactly.
If Porter wants to jump on.
I can answer your question, Curtis.
Yeah, let's hear.
Maybe not necessarily so much of what I've been watching, but what I've been doing to keep myself motivated.
Yes, let's hear it.
I've gotten a really nice little morning routine where, you know how they say you're supposed to kind of drink X amount of water and hydrate, whatever, have a fucking tea.
Yeah.
I've been really trying to get up and like drink a glass of water and make my bed. That's been little things that I've really been trying to do every day to kind of just like start my day. I'm up, I'm getting ready. Okay, what now can I execute that I'm not going to just like get back and crawl in my bed, you know, or whatever. I'm going to be awake and get shit done.
That's so funny because that's like, it sounds so simple.
Yeah.
Like I listen to you say that and I'm like, that's like what we should all be doing. I don't do that whatsoever. And I imagine if I did, my life would probably be insanely better. Like I could
just get my messy bed right now.
That's you're inspiring me, and I almost like want to make. I just need to hold myself accountable for that. And the problem is that no one does.
Yeah.
No one really holds me accountable for anything. So I just sit here, but I did.
Christine, if you're listening to this, this is your opportunity.
I'm gonna text her right now.
No. I don't want it. No, I've been sleeping in, man. I've been sleeping. I slept in today until what time did we got on here at 2:00, right? So I think I slept till probably 12 because I was up late last night, and then I got up. I chugged a glass of water. And maybe that's why I'm feeling good right now. But I went for a run. I went for a 10-minute run because I was like, I need to wake myself up so I can sit here and like talk with you guys. That's cool. I really wish I had a morning routine down like that. What else do you have going on that kind of keeps you sane, Leah?
I started doing ab workouts too.
Oh.
Super into that. But that's
Getting
all
that summer bod ready, right?
that summer bod. I'm like ready for summer. Yeah.
We're gonna do a 1 month check-in where we all got to stand here and take our shirts off and
Oh god.
No. ass.
come on,
I need
Riley.
more than a month.
No, I'm looking at Riley right now.
Oh, okay.
Riley's done a few fitness challenges.
Riley's challenge you did was
No, dude.
insane.
Riley did.
I could not do that.
Riley, can you tell everybody about your 60-day challenge quick?
Well, I'll preface it with why we did it. But
Yes.
over the summer when I moved up to Calgary, I'm living on 17th, and there's so many good restaurants. So I was just eating out a lot and drinking and not being healthy. And I had a gym membership that was literally just a deposit, an auto deposit. I didn't use it. And it was like the fall after I went on a work trip to Vegas with my boss where we did not work. Came back and felt extremely fat. And we were he runs a podcast too called The Ambition Project. And we were interviewing this one guy who said him and his business partner have a going bet for a month who can go to the gym the most. And only thing that qualifies as a gym go is if you work out for 30 minutes. And so he's like, all right, whoever loses has to buy the other person a expensive steak dinner. And so we did that, but for 2 months because it was over the Christmas break. And I hit the gym, I think 44 or 45 days
Wow.
out of
That's killer.
62.
Animal.
And it was really good. I finally used my membership. I just ran a lot. I ended up ripping like 3 pairs of pants because all I did was hit the treadmill for 30 minutes. I was like, that's my workout. And then I just blew 3 pants.
I wish I could blast your before and after pictures on here, but I don't have those ready. But no,
No,
Riley is
okay,
looking
shouldn't-
good, man. He was looking sexy.
Past tense.
he still is. No, I think that's awesome. I want to hear Brady. What have you been consuming or doing?
So like, I'm still in school. I'm just finishing. I got like 2 weeks left. Thank goodness. And so I'm just been doing that right now. But like, I told Curtis about this. I set up like a goal board where I have like just this big board in my office, and it's got a bunch of sticky notes with a bunch of different tasks. And so depending if it's like school related, personal related, or work related, and whenever I finish it, I move it over to the completed, and it gives me like that like motivation. Oh, I'm actually completing stuff. And like, you look at my desk right now, it's a post-it mess because there's just so much going on. But one of my goals is like, I'm an avid reader. I love to read. I like podcasts. I like audiobooks, but I love to read. So I've got a list of about 120 business books I'm going to be reading up on, but like I've got about 40 of them right now. Sorry?
120,
That's a lot.
you said?
Yeah.
It's a library.
It's more books than I've ever read, I think.
I've only got about 40 of them, and I've only read like a portion of them, but it's just like consuming that. And then for me, like the biggest thing, like to keep myself learning and motivated, and it's kind of what we're doing right now. Like Curtis was saying, I reached out to him last week because I sat at my desk for like 2 hours looking at my website, for example. And I was like, can you change this? What do I do? And I just like sat there, literally, I'm not kidding you, for 2 hours. Like, what the heck? What do I do? And so I called Curtis, and we had like, what was like 30 minutes or something like that? Like, it wasn't even that
30
long to
minutes.
talk.
It was probably we talked on the phone for like 2 hours, probably.
No, it wasn't that bad.
You were motivated
talk-
in 30 minutes, maybe.
I was anyways. But after I got up, I like got on my website, and within 40 minutes, I completed everything I wanted to do. Versus like
cool.
sitting at that screen for like 2-3 hours. And so I feel like that's something that I'm going to do is like, I'm going to reach out to a friend that might be going through the same struggle or trying to grow their business. Just call them, have a half-hour conversation if you're getting in your own little rut, and then go back to it. And then another thing too is like, if you are in a rut and you can't get out of it, then go do something different.
Yeah.
Fill your time up, go for a run, play some Call of Duty if that's what you want to do, whatever it is. Or a lot of people are doing different things. Just mix it up a little bit. Just consume. As business obviously is good, but consume different things as well. Like, try and consume as much as you can, because we have the time, literally, just to do whatever we want.
I like to
socialize.
like talking about like consuming with intention. So
I was just gonna say,
rather than just like being like, oh, I'm gonna go on Instagram right now and look around, like, why are you going on Instagram right now? Do you want entertainment, or like what am I doing on YouTube right now? Like when I sit down to go on YouTube, I'm like, all right, is this like documentary time, like learn something I didn't know and be entertained, or is this like watch tutorials and see if I want to try something new, or is this just straight up like entertainment, like I'm gonna watch like a Logan Paul podcast, or like watch them talk about porn stars or something crazy like that, and just be like entertained, right? Like deciding like what that is you're gonna do. And I think that is pretty important in that realm.
Yeah.
What about you, Riley? Oh, we already asked Riley. What about Johnny?
I've been getting away from screens, exactly that. I've been reading books, playing music, going for walks, doing exercise, making sure I don't just stare at a screen continually. It just gets addictive, and you look at this screen, then you pick up your phone screen, then you look up at the TV screen, you're like, So just deliberately getting away from that and consuming stuff that isn't screen-based is definitely
that's cool.
Definitely the thing I'm prioritizing right now.
I would like, along with that, yesterday I actually went in my iPhone and I looked at my screen time.
Oh, I've been
to see
avoiding
how
that.
long. I'm surprised. I'm under 3 hours. And like and an hour of that is usually in the morning when I wake up and I'm like laying in bed. I say morning loosely. Late morning, early afternoon on like this on the schedule I'm on right now. But
it's like
just
a brunch of morning.
Yeah, laying there looking, just like answering notifications and like looking at funny shit and whatnot, which I think is cool. But Austin, what have you been doing?
Yeah, so like I said, I've just been kind of doing stuff that I never really had time for, or like stuff from when I was younger that I used to love doing, so like drawing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I sold my
seen that,
MacBook. Yeah, so I sold my Mac and I bought like an iPad Pro. So I've just been like drawing on that. It's been really fun. And then just kind of like we were talking about, refocusing my business like position, and just like what I want to do going forward. I have something in the works, kind of. I can't really talk too much about it, but it's to do with like the whole drawing and designs thing.
Nice. Cool.
Maybe a little bit of fake store merch.
Oh.
No, but
not
actual merch, but just like kind of going to the. I've
There's
always
the
been
plug.
like. Yeah, there's a plug.
Yeah.
You can buy it.
Austin.
But I've always been wanting to move into like the clothing and design kind of realm, because I used to do it in high school, but like I don't have time for that. But now I do. So.
See, funny thing is, like, I didn't know that you. Well, I knew that you kind of did that, but not really. And then you posted that you did. He did a little drawing, and then posted like the live thing of him doing the drawing. And honestly, like, the drawing was cool, but like the thing of you drawing the drawing and then seeing it was like really cool. That's where I was like, holy shit, he's good. Whereas like if you had just posted it, I'd have been like, oh, that was cool. But like watching you create that, I was like, damn, I could not do that.
I think
That's
just
really
like
dope.
The reason I even added that was just to like a little bit more engagement from people, like, you know.
Yeah. No,
like if I was scrolling Instagram and I see a drawing, and if I really liked it, I'd be like, oh, like how do you do that? Like that's insane. And then just give that option.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to that sharing thing that we were talking about. It's just like sharing a little bit more of your life and your process and what you do. I think people find that very interesting. It's a great way to grow your brand, as well as like, honestly, not even just in it for yourself, but to share that with other people. And you know, you could really help inspire somebody to do the same thing, which could change their life, which is just the weirdest thing to say, but that's how the internet works right now. So
dude, facts. I was just gonna say,
weird.
that's like the one other thing that I've been doing, just trying to like connect with people I haven't really been able to with a lot of time, and like fellow creatives and stuff, and just see what they're up to, like, and kind of just like get a conversation going, like cross inspire everybody, like exactly what's going on here. Like working with like my cousin and friends and stuff like that I usually wouldn't have time to film videos for, and just kind of like having fun, just enjoying life.
Yeah, even like reaching out to those people that you might have been a little bit scared to reach out to before.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I need to do more of that. I just get so nervous sometimes. Like, I don't know. I feel like I just have like one impression. I don't want to wreck it, or I don't know. I'm just not. I lack
One shot.
I lack
One
some like
opportunity.
social confidence. The way that like you guys
Oh,
do.
dude. I really wish I had like the social skills of Riley and Leah, because like I'm the opposite of whatever like a networker is, man. Like I wish I could be so bad, but like
Yeah.
I don't know if you like learn that, but hopefully.
I think they're just naturally like that.
You guys are absolutely killing this. Like,
Ugh.
Curtis, you're essentially hosting this whole thing.
Yeah, but I'm sitting in like, this is like
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
my spot, right? Like I sit here like all day. Like this is like what I do. So I'm chill with this. But
That's why he
also
has the big
30
chair.
dailies though too. Like 30 dailies did that for me. Like I hated being
Yeah.
on camera and then just like whip my phone out and do like a vlog of the day and people were like, that was so cool. And I'm like, who wants to watch this shit? And everyone's like, do more of it. I want to watch it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
No, I think that this is really cool and like it's such a funny roundabout way that we all come back to like the community side of things and just sharing and talking and how that's been a big motivation for everyone. And that's kind of like what we're doing here. And I think by sharing it with other people, we kind of get other people to get let in on this. And that was kind of my idea initially with Uncensored was that I wanted to have more of a community side of things rather than just like a production work side of things, because I find that that's where the most success will come from is people working together, sharing ideas, kind of what we're doing now.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to walk away from this feeling good and motivated, and we accomplished something today because we shared information and whatever else. So I want to continue doing this. I created that like little Facebook page called Uncensored. It's just a group. If you're interested in what we're talking about and you want to get involved, you should come on there and join in there, because I kind of want to like continue this conversation as well as post new things. And then when Brady and I want to do new live streams, kind of like, or like meetings, podcasts, what we're doing right now, we could toss that in there and talk about ideas and see who wants to all get involved and just like it's kind of that community aspect of things. I know there's lots of communities out there already, but I know they get like slightly saturated and it's just a little bit too broad and a little bit too big. Whereas I think if we can just tighten it down into like our network of friends and circles and watch it organically grow, I think it would do really well for all of us in terms of like, you know, just motivation, even business standpoint, sharing, helping each other, giving each other work, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. So you can do that.
For anyone that's watching this and has enjoyed it and wants to like join us too, just send us like a DM. We'll
Yeah.
put like some information up on like how to reach out to us. But ideally, we want to bring in new faces every time and just get people's different perspectives on how they ran their businesses or how they've grown or what they're doing. You know, obviously, hopefully Corona isn't going to be around until 2021, but like, you know, it's going to be the center
know.
conversation for a lot of things. You never know. It's going to be the center conversation for a lot of things. But once it's over too, like this is something that we would like to see continue forward, where we build a community, we all help each other out,
Yeah.
you know, and just develop like a one set mind where we want to pursue better things. And so I feel like this is a really good time to probably end this.
Yeah.
I feel what I want to do though is I want to give everyone like an opportunity of like a 30 seconds to a minute or whatever, just to kind of plug
yourself.
plug yourself in there. Just how people
This camera.
this camera, little Hot Ones episode.
Yeah.
But like just kind of give your own little information where you can find you, whether it's your social media or YouTube video, or just like what do you got planned coming up for the next, or what you don't have planned coming up in the next little bit. So kind of start off. Well, let's start with Johnny, actually, if you want to just give a little informational tidbit or whatever.
Yeah, totally. Check out jonathanborm.com or Johnny2Lines on Instagram. That's my cool name. Kids like it.
I like it.
There's all the events and festivals and just stuff that I do throughout the year on there.
Cool.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Leah, you want to go?
Yeah. My Instagram is peanut butter hats.
That's cute.
Kids like that too. I'll be building my company Instagram, Mirai Creative, over the next couple months. I'm going to use this time to really plan out my entire vision for my Instagram page. So you can stay in tune for that. It should be pretty good one day. Hopefully.
Excited.
Riley, you want to go next?
Sure. On Sky Mills on everything, and kind of I'm going to be getting into the live streaming a little bit more and hopefully start some regular mixes. So those will be at twitch.tv/Sky Mills.
Nice.
Awesome. He's super good. Just like go check it out.
Riley ran a podcast.
I need that as a testimonial on my website.
Riley ran
He's
like a
super
podcast
good.
mix before. Riley, how many episodes of your mixes did you do before?
I had 2 years. I had like 25 monthly mixes.
Oh,
and
dude, I forgot about that.
yeah, my seasonal mix series. And the only downfall of that was like Dropbox changed its public algorithm. So you can't have public folders anymore. And that was what was hosting all of my podcast mixes. So they all got taken down. But the original concept was I would do a 20-minute mix, and then I would feature 20 mini mixes from 3 new people every time. That was a big leg up on networking and stuff too. So something to consider.
I'm excited to see you kind of continue and grow that and adapt that to how things are working right now, especially with Twitch and everything. Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
What about you, Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just follow me Instagram at Fake Sora. And then I'm gonna start doing live streaming too, so like drawing and like video edits. I think I'm even gonna do like beat challenges, so like make a beat in an hour type stuff. So that'll be twitch.tv/Fake Sora, but X instead of the A's. So yeah. And then if you want to peep like any music, I guess SoundCloud/Fake Sora. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yo, Austin sent me this track the other day, and he was like, yo, I'm just finishing up this track that I had done a long time ago. Like, check it out. And I was like, oh my God. Why is he why is he doing video and photo and graphic design and all those things?
Right?
Man,
I think he sent that to me too. I was like, dude, this is heat.
I was thinking, I was like, yo, I think I'm going to start an artist name and you're just going to produce for me and I'll just buy that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, I'm down, man. You know, got to make bank somehow.
I don't have any money, but maybe when things change.
It's okay.
All right, Brady, what about you? Where can we find your stuff?
Yeah, so Instagram is amped_up_entertainment. Facebook, I'm on there too. I post to both of them, but my website's my big thing. It's at auentertainment.ca, and just go check it out. We got some pretty cool content. It's still growing on there. Hopefully we're going to put some more up on our Instagram as well. We did a pretty cool shoot about 2 months ago, roughly. And so we're just getting the content back for that right now. So there should be some pretty awesome photos, but yeah, we're like Curtis has said, we're really expanding and hopefully to grow into the whole western part of Canada. Pretty much, I want to see this be a big boy.
Nice, I like it.
But yeah, just go check out our information.
Prestige worldwide.
That's exactly it, pretty much. So you can find me at I got just way too many things going on, man. Instagram at Curtis Media, which you guys probably know if you're watching this. That's kind of my home base. That's where everything will stay. New company stuff is censored. There's nothing on there. Don't go look at it. I need to make a website, all that. Hopefully I can. That's one of those things I can do now, kind of building that foundation. Been working on the idea for a while. One thing I want to point you guys to, though, is my sister does social media marketing. She works for an international hot tub company in Vancouver. She graduated from fashion marketing in Vancouver. She knows everything, social media, advertising. She's brilliant. She thinks very much like me, which is crazy. We didn't like each other in high school. Now we do the exact same thing, and we get along quite well. Going in on the company Censored together. She wanted to kind of offer help to people, so she created this Instagram account called Censored for You. And what she's going to be doing on there, and what she's doing right now, is posting like marketing social media tips and stuff like that. So I think if you're watching this, you should definitely go follow that, because it's just a really good spot where you can kind of get advice and tips and be creative, and that can kind of pop up through your feed regularly. Or it's something that you can go check when you're sitting down and you want to do some marketing and you don't know where to start or anything like that. It's a really good place. We're putting together like a bit of a guide, which we'll post online and whatever. And sounds like we have like a crazy amount of more ideas and stuff on here, but you should check that out. Censored for You on Instagram. There's some good
censored
tips.
with an S.
Yeah, Censored with an S. Sorry, yeah. I just get so caught up in that. Like, I wish I could just like put it on my screen right now, but I don't have my stuff together to do that. But you should go check that out if you're curious about advertising, marketing, anything. You're looking for ideas, advice. You just need some inspiration. Go on there, check that out. That's probably the most important thing that I can direct you guys to right now, because that's where I can add value to your guys' life and your business and what you're doing. One idea that I want to just say on here quick before we close this out is I want to do another one of these, but I want to talk all about organization and how people stay organized, what they're doing, how you manage clients, how you keep together your dates, like Johnny's talking about booking multiple events in the future. Like, I kind of want to hear about like how he keeps track of that, what he uses, like Google Calendar, just down to the basics, like how you keep notes. I know that Brady's using Post-it notes right now. I know I'm using Post-it notes, a mix of many things. I think people love to hear that kind of stuff. I'm a weird office nerd. I like to go to Staples and check out all the cool shit I could possibly put on my desk to make it look better and neater. I think people have like a weird obsession for stuff like that. I like to do that in the future. Maybe we'll do that one next. Yeah, see, look at Brady's little board there. See, that's so cool. And I think that can really help change people's lives, and is kind of like maybe a good addition to this next. So I'd like to come back as soon as possible. I don't know when we're going to do this again, but thanks everybody for coming on. You guys are all my really good friends anyway. So we
really appreciate it.
This was really cool.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I want to keep doing this. I want to grow this. I want to grow the community. The community was an idea that was from way before, but with all this happening, I find that it's so important, and I wanted to just get it out there and go. Back to my whole thing of, when you're putting stuff out, you want it to be perfect and great, and you want to have everything dialed so that, it's a reflection of you and it looks good. But the time isn't always there for that. And this is a great example of right now is the time where we need a community. And that's where I kind of want to just put all my friends in one place and do something like that. So thanks again. I'm excited. This was cool. Hopefully
thanks
the people
everyone for coming out.
that are watching learn something, or join the combo or whatever, or look back on it one day. We'll post it on YouTube or something like that. But thanks everybody. I appreciate it. And, yeah, I don't know. How do you end these things? You just like say bye.
I think that's pretty much it.
That was right. Thank you guys.
I'm new. I'm not cool.
You can do like the YouTuber thing where like.
Yeah.
Wait. We all have to do it. We all have to do it at the same time. So on the count of 5, do this, and then I'm gonna hit
On the
end
count of high
stream.
five.
On the count of high 5. 1,
right.
2, 3, 4, 5. Bye. Oh, you're so early.